Welcome to EPAM Gaming Convos, a podcast where we explore how innovation and technology are transforming the game development industry. And today, I'm joined by Dean Takahashi, Chief Editor of GamesBeat, to talk about the impact of innovation and AI on the world of game development. So, Dean, typically you are interviewing the game industry people and reporting on the game stories. But today we wanted to flip the script a little bit and instead to interview you. Hi.
Hi. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for coming for the podcast. It's a great pleasure to have you here. So what I wanted to talk to you about is, so we met last time with you back in Lisbon at the AI roundtable, where we've been exploring the impact of AI, agentic AI on the gaming industry. So that was 6 months back from now. So now we are in August 2025. So what you as a market observer see how the level of AI adoption changes and what it means right now?
Well, I do remember there was a game developer conference survey that said that about 30% of game developers were very negative on how they viewed AI, and that this number had increased from like a year earlier. And so it was going in the wrong direction in terms of adoption of AI. But it's August 2025 now, and Google Cloud and the Harris Poll put out a survey today that said 90% of game developers are actually using AI in their workflows now. And so it's a big difference, different surveys for sure, but I think, it feels like AI is going to be inevitable in almost all businesses. All parts of society are being affected by it. And, you can either allow yourself to be affected by AI or you can actually use it to your advantage, I think. And with game development, it can be a force multiplier. And I think some of the smaller game developers, they can use it to, do the work of 10 times as many people, I think, right? And so there's user-generated content where a lot of the amateur game makers are not so skillful at making games, and the AI can help bridge them to making something that can actually get to the market or can be really good user-generated content. So I think that's where AI is making an impact. It's hard to tell whether the worst fears about AI are coming true, about whether the jobs are being eliminated, like programming jobs maybe could be eliminated, or art jobs could be eliminated. I think those fears are still in some way playing out. At the same time, there could be jobs created.
So how far do you think we are from solo game designers, game developers running fully fledged games? Because of course, it lowers the barrier of entry significantly, so that you can start creating from ground up and start to get the time to market and the response from the community much faster. So how far we are from that?
Yeah. I mean, I think there are a lot more solo game developer hits now that have come to the market, like Balatro and Animal Well, but I think more of those are the sort of case of veteran game developers learning how to do all aspects of game development themselves and excelling at it, as opposed to AI coming along to help somebody who's not so skillful finish a big job all by themselves. So that feels like that might be further off from happening right now. But the potential is interesting, and it's there and kind of undeniable that AI can let you do a lot more work than you otherwise would.
Yeah. What examples of some meaningful innovation on the markets, either from technology perspective or from content creative or from business models perspective, do you see that helps companies overcome these challenges and strive?
I think there are new ideas emerging about the ways that AI can affect gameplay
in games. And at first, everybody was talking about having smart non-player characters,
Right.
NPC.
And you've been reporting on that recently, I remember.
Yeah, and companies like In-World AI had talked about that, but they have, in some ways, pivoted into other ways that they can make themselves useful. I think that the cost of AI for interaction has gone down, and that's good for them because some of those NPCs could have been very expensive for game developers to implement. But there's also a new generation of companies that are sort of thinking beyond smart NPCs into other ways of affecting gameplay, like having AI generate things like cutscenes or movies, right? And there are companies that are sort of tangentially related that are doing AI generated shows like South Park, that knockoffs, right? I think also that AI is resulting in new kinds of game designs, like say, if you remember the Hunger Games, there was a game director who was controlling things, and there was this leader, Snow, who was telling the game director, make this more difficult for Katniss, the people inside this game, right? We're going to turn on the screws and make their lives miserable. And there is a role there that some companies have created for AI, where a human sort of leader could basically say to the AI, make this happen in the game, and we'll see what dynamically results from that among the characters that are in the game having to deal with whatever changes are created. So this role of an AI as a game director, it fits fairly well with the description of agentic AI, right? There's another example of a game called Ashes of a Singularity 2, and they had 100,000, they made a first game in 2016 with 100,000 units on the battlefield in a real-time strategy game, and that was like groundbreaking for the time. But no human could control all those units. And so they now have a sequel coming where they're trying to use AI agents as sort of like generals of the army that could control parts of the action and control parts of the army units. And then the human can then give direction to those AI agents.
Right.
And there's still a lot of fun gameplay in that. Like you could have different personalities for different AI generals, as an example. And if you tell one to take a hill, that AI general might comply and obey, but somebody else might take the hill and try to go further than that and lose their whole army doing that. So it's a different kind of use for AI in games, and I think that people will discover more of these changes for actual gameplay along the way.
Yeah, well, that's exciting, and that's really interesting. That's a lot of things are changing, and we are yet to see a lot of new opportunities.